Okay, traders, so this section is a bit more of a practical section, so hopefully you enjoy this a bit more than some of the theory I've obviously been throwing at you quite relentlessly. And as discussed, this is essentially me on the simulator bringing together everything. So what I would say is, now you've been practicing all the individual things, as I said, for the last 2, 3 months. I'm happy for you now to start going on the simulator, just playing around, which you were doing anyway before, but now um, maybe trying to take some profits, not with a view to making P&L. That's not the point. All it is I want you to understand um, how trading happens around value and fair price. So if you haven't seen all these videos or done the exercises, guys, and you just come straight to this section, go back. Do them all individually is going to make absolutely no sense to you. If you've done all the exercises individually, and in particular also watched the last video about auction market theory, then this is going to make a lot more sense to you. So let's just recap what's going on. So what have we learned so far? Not necessarily in the whole course, but just in terms of what's going on a depth of market in particular, on the financial side, so financial market side, is would you agree we've looked at supply side games, which I asked you to go away and have a look at, which was not necessarily the spoofing element, because like I said, regulators don't allow it anymore. But what is quite useful is the second part of the spoofing element, which is as you're approaching offers and bids, they're changing. So for example here, let me just zoom in here, guys. It's going to be a lot easier for you to see it. Okay, so for example, as I said, we can see some unusual sizes. We see 615 here, we see 636. As the market's approaching, if that 636, someone just cuts it and it drops back down to 300, that's giving me information, isn't it? It's telling me that maybe that seller isn't real. So that's all I mean by supply side games and changing orders. So we're going to label that 1. And what I want you to do when you're doing this stuff, as I said, is, and I've got it here, my own one, even after all these years, pen and paper, just make a note of this stuff as you notice it within these categories. 2 is absorption. So just a reminder, obviously that's more to do with normal size. So we might see 400 here, which is about the average. And as we approach it, we're seeing many more hundreds, if not thousands of contracts trading into this seller, and he's just sitting there absorbing it. Go back to the absorption video if that doesn't make sense. And then 3 is market orders versus pending orders. So really just interested in aggression, the demand side, right? As we said, people physically in this blank space you're trading, these blank spaces, because why? You're not sitting passively as you are here or here. You're actually getting aggressive, right? And you're either going to these sellers and saying, right, I'll have some of that, and then therefore your buys come here, or you're going to these buyers and saying, I'll have some of that, and your sells go there. So again, if that doesn't make sense, go back and remind yourself on the market orders videos and do exercises just doing that. And then finally, we came to the auction market theory, right, where we said market orders, these market orders cause what? Transactions to appear. We talked about milk cartons, but it can apply to anything. Every time someone buys and sells something aggressively, it appears as a transaction. Happens in any business, etc., etc. So we're not going to go over that again. I just wanted to kind of summarize the 4 things that we're going to bring together now. And if you haven't done, this is why I want you to see why I made you do exercises individually on the 4 things, because now we're going to bring them together. So what I've actually done is, I'm now on the simulator. I'm going to take a trade, which I've pre-recorded, and I'm going to put some commentary on it now on this video. So let's just hit play. But before we do that, let's just have a look at the profile and remind ourselves of this bit. Why this bit is so crucial. Don't worry, the depth of market, we're not necessarily going to bin it, but we're just not going to look at it very rarely. We're going to look at it very rarely once we go on to actually building some edge in the pro section. What we are going to do, however, is use the volume profile, as you know, extensively on a chart. So what I talked about in the auction market theory section is absolutely crucial, guys, the value areas. So let's just remind ourselves, and if this doesn't ring any bells, go back to the section and watch it again. What are the only two things I'm interested in? Value, right? What's the fair price? So what you can see here is the treasury market's got quite a wide fair price. For what this happens, guys, you know, we're in the middle of the coronavirus at the moment, and markets finding it very difficult to find any fair price. However, when it does find fair price, which is clearly done here, because you can see the profile is very thin here, the market's not. If you think of this on a chart, what's it basically done? This area's had a lot of trading. This area is just shot up. No one's really transacted here, and you can see that in the profile. Here, a lot of people have transacted. However, rather than it being a thin profile of value, the fair price is a little bit wide. Big deal, doesn't matter. Same concept and exactly the same sort of thought process applies, which is that our first identifying fair price, right, which I talked about in the previous video. So we've established what fair price is, and that's the value area. So I've kind of got a rough idea. And there's tools which I'll show you can use to identify the exact value area in the pro course. But guys, the way I do it, I just eyeball it. Markets aren't perfect. You know, we don't want to fall into that trap of looking for perfection, because it doesn't exist. Anyone who tells you is living in dreamland. Human beings aren't perfect. They're never going to agree exactly on perfect price and value. We've got to give it some leeway. So that's why I love to do these things in an approximate manner. Although, like I said, there are tools which will identify the value area for you, but we'll get into that in the pro course. For now, all you got to know is that to me is the fair price right now, right? And you can see it, that's where the most volume's traded. We've built a nice little profile here. Yes, ideally I would want it to be a thinner area, but like I said, no big deal. Remember in auction market theory section, what's the two sort of trading methodologies or trading edge that I'm always looking at? Where am I looking for profit? Where do I see opportunity, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Well, when the market's here, do you remember what we said? Right in slap bang at fair price. The milk carton selling at, I think it was 150. You won't go and buy it for 150 wanting to sell it. You might buy it to consume it. You're not looking to make money at 150. Why? Because that's where the market is. Really, you're not going to get anyone wanting to pay you more than 150 anyway. So we don't want to trade there, right? Where's opportunity, guys? It's when we start to move to the edges, right? So do you remember A was return to value? So it was mean reversion, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to put return to fair price, yeah? So if we're here or we're trading here, what am I looking at? To return back into fair price. The alternative is what, guys? I'm looking. Now, I don't have the next, because it's chopped off, there'll be a bit of value that was maybe produced throughout the day further down here. So obviously if we broke out of here, what am I looking to do? Do you remember we said it's not trend trading, it's move to next fair price, right? Do you remember what we said? If the carton of milk collapses to $1, and then things get better, where's the market logically going to go back to? Where it was before, 150 fair price. So I'm looking for where was the next level of fair price. If we break out of the previous fair price, we're going down to the next one. If we break out here and we go out the top, I'll probably look for something the previous day. That's why I haven't done the breakout and looking for next fair price. We'll do that in the pro course. What I've actually done in this example, if I just clear this up, I'm telling you all of this because it's going to be a lot easier, as you can imagine, for me to tell you now before I hit play when the market's actually moving and you're trying to figure out what on earth I'm doing. It's easier for me to tell you right now, of course. So what happens is you'll see the market starts to go outside of fair value. Then I'm looking for things here, 1, 2, 3, a combination of factors here that occur here on supply and demand. Okay, mainly demand, because like I said, eventually we're going to drop supply, we're going to look at demand. But it's a depth of market, and I used to use supply a lot, so I might as well show you how I use it. That's why I say don't worry about making money on this. Guys, you're not going to make money. You can drive yourself crazy trying to make money on this. Like I said, algorithms are there, they're very fast. I've been watching this thing for many, many years. So for me, I guess it's ingrained in me. It's almost like driving a car. I've watched this thing for maybe, you know, multiple years, guys. I'm almost embarrassed to say how many years I've spent watching this thing. Obviously, before I migrated to charts, which has done me good. I don't regret it. Obviously, I understand profile and value and these concepts probably better than most because I spent, a decade watching this thing. So for me, okay, I'm taking ticks out of the market, but guys, don't do that. That's not how I want you to develop as a trader. It's, you're just going to get bored sitting here watching this thing all the time, as you've noticed the last 3-4 weeks. All I want you to do is I want you to understand how the market is coming out of value, coming back in. All I'm going to show you is how you can use these things to clue you in, but we're going to revisit this stuff in the pro course using volume analysis tools like footprint and other things on a chart. So yeah, it's important you understand all of this stuff. Absorption, do you remember I said cumulative delta analysis? We're going to do it on a chart. Market orders, obviously you see that on a footprint. You'll also see that in volume profile, VWAP. All of these things are going to become really important on a chart. I'm just going to show you on a depth of market for a sense of completion, and so you can now go away maybe for a week or two. I want you to do the same thing here that I'm doing, which is not necessarily trying to make money, but just observe, watch it. What's happening when we go out of the most recent value? Oh, we're going to the next area of value. Oh, if we don't go to the next area of value, the market will quickly shoot back and come into the last area of value. All right, guys? Those are the sort of things I want you to observe over the next 2-3 weeks. Is how is the market responding around fair value? So even here, for example, same thing. I know I keep repeating myself, but hopefully you can see I'm doing it for your own good. So the concept is just well ingrained in you. Is if we come out, remember, what's the two things it can do? Return to fair price or go to the next area fair price. What it very rarely will do is come down and start to trade around these blank areas, because that's not where people are happy to transact. Simple as that. Typically what you're going to see is we move to the next area of fair value. So watch out for those subtle things over the next 1-2 weeks when you're consolidating your knowledge. Now I'm going to hit play here. Finally, I'm sure you're thinking, and we're going to bring everything together. Let me just clear this up, zoom in. Let's take this out. Okay, so we're going to hit play, zoom in, hit play, and then we're going to pick up the action. And if there's anything, I'll pause it for you. Okay, so here we are in the treasury market. Now remember, this is the edge of that value, which extends a bit further down actually. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing some absorbing. Can you see it, guys? You can see the absorption here. 1,600 have traded at 22. This seller is absorbing. There's interest to sell this market. But I'm actually waiting for us to see if we move out of. Remember what I said? Approximately this will extend a bit further down because I've zoomed it in. I want us to move out right to the edge of this area, and then I'm going to see what's happening. But already, can you see at the edge of value, we're seeing interest to sell, absorption. Number 2. So I'd be making a note of this. Absorption at 22. Okay. So on its own, absorption's not enough. I want to see absorption, then I want to see aggressive sellers coming in, which gives me a clue that we're going to move back down. But the key is the context, guys. Where are we? If I saw this action happening, where? In the middle of fair value, I don't care. Doesn't mean anything. It's because we're right at the edge of value. There we go. More absorption, guys. So we saw about 2,000, now we're seeing 3,000, 4,000 contracts being absorbed at 22. So clearly a seller is in this market, right? Absorbing at 22. So I'm still pretty relaxed. I haven't seen any aggression come in. I'm thinking to myself, let it pop out a little bit. Let's see what this seller's doing. Does he come back in around here? Okay, so we've gone bid now. We broke through 22, which is, it's no big deal. It's only one tick. It doesn't mean that this seller's given up at all. He probably himself is thinking, all right, there's quite a lot of aggression. Buyers are still willing to buy. He's probably backed off a little bit and he's just waiting now to see what's happening as we approach the edge of value. So this could go out. Remember, if I didn't see the absorption and I saw aggressive buying happening, then I might be looking to trade it out. But I saw this absorption, so already I'm thinking to myself, maybe this could be a mean reversion trade back in to value. So nothing to shout about yet. We're not seeing aggressive selling coming in, guys. That's what I'm looking for at this moment in time. I pre-recorded this video, so I could have been thinking anything at the time, but I know for sure that that's what I was looking for. All right, that's where the first sellers, we're seeing some aggression coming in. But what am I noticing? Guys, supply side games. These, remember I said the buyers are sticking? 1288 traded into here, they didn't budge. So those buyers are very real. So for me, okay, we saw the absorption earlier around 22, but when we see the aggression coming in at 21, it wasn't easier for these sellers to break through. So now I'm thinking, all right, we're kind of like a 1-all. I'm waiting. So I've cleared the depth of market. Right, so we saw absorption at 22. We saw buyers holding firm at 21. So it's kind of 1-all at the moment. Again, I'm just trying to let you think what my thought process is. I've also got an eye on this number there, and I'm thinking, all right, that's unusual. Let's see how we react around there. Time is also really important. Look, 4 minutes have gone by, and we've pretty much been trading around the same area. So I'm still thinking this could be mean reversion, potentially if we see some sellers stepping in around here. So I'm waiting. Right, not much action from either side. Buyers aren't keen to buy. We're only seeing 27 lift, 200 lift, 65 lift. They're all very, below 100 contracts or 200 contracts lifting. And now we're at this key area. Remember I said I want to see what does the market do there. Well, the sellers ain't shifting. That's 670 contracts are still showing. Now we're seeing some aggressive selling coming in, which I like. 1,000 sellers now. 1,020, 251. These sellers, so this is the red army, right? The sellers, the offers and the aggression, the demand side of selling and the supply, both on the red side, wanting this thing to go down and getting aggressive now. This seller's sticking there, and this seller has now got aggressive. So I think now I'm starting to get interested in taking a position. Why? Because I'm seeing, not necessarily, I've seen some absorption, but I'm seeing that there's a seller here who's just sitting. A and B, guys, has anyone bought into 24? One contract, nothing. Very little interest in selling, in buying here at the top of the market. And remember, on a footprint, you'd see 1, 3, 2, 6 and 1, so big imbalance as well. So I know I'm getting very interested now in selling because I'm thinking, well, no one's buying the market. No one wants to test this guy. He's standing firm. We've seen aggressive selling coming in. So almost 1, 2, 3. All things are happening at the edge of value. This area, the edge of the whole fair price. So I'm surprised I haven't actually taken a position here yet. But let's see if I do. Because again, this was pre-recorded. I think I want to just get filled on the offer potentially and not get too aggressive. But let's see what happens anyway. So again, guys, look, just one individual buyer has come into 24, and we've seen only aggression. And this guy, look, he's still there. 600 there. We're finally seeing a little bit of a test of some buying, but again, no one trades into 24. But we are seeing a little bit of buying. Absorption, guys, absorption happening at 23.5. There was not 1,000 contracts on the offer at 23.5. There you go. That's what made me get in. I've got short now. I saw the absorption. Can you see that? More absorption. Guys, we saw aggression, sellers hitting the bids at 23.5, and now we're seeing absorption here, and we're right at the edge of the market. Third thing is this guy's staying still, so the supply side game, no changing of orders. All three things are pointing to this market coming down. So I actually took some more contract there. I think I got filled at 23.5. So I hit the market aggressively at 23. I put a market order in at 23.5 and I got filled on that. So let's just see what happens now. Time is crucial, you know. The longer this now takes to move down, the sellers will get a little bit nervous and they'll allow this to push against them a little bit. So what I'm doing is, as you see, I've got the mouse holding in these squares. That's my stop loss, guys. I'm just getting ready to stop out in case it goes against me. Can you see what I've done here? These are my take profits. I've put some bids in the market. Why is that? Well, this is a level of support, isn't it? If this buyer's real, it's going to be difficult. I know I want to ideally go right into value, but there's a decent amount of trading that took place there at 20. See that little high volume node, it's called? So I like what I've seen so much. I think I took another position there. So that's my 3 positions basically around here. Look, guys, still there, 600 and only one traded. I've got my finger on the stop there, and I'm actually, to be fair, I'm happy for them to test this 654. Because the market, obviously we're in Corona, and you saw that the fair price is a little bit wider than usual. I think I'm going to allow myself a little bit more room on this trade than I normally would when I'm trading treasuries. This is what I always say to people, the market's dynamic, guys. Even when you see me trading on Discord, I'm always looking for clues as to, okay, so the market's moving down nicely now towards my targets. Do you see, guys, that guy never got tested. Then we saw absorption and sellers coming in at 23.5. So quite a bit trade there. Okay. So I've taken that out and I'm trying to get my first fill here. There you go. So I just got filled. I shorted and I got filled. I moved it up a little bit just because it was taking time. So again, remind yourself what we've seen. We've seen absorption, we've seen aggression come on this side. We've seen supply side games in the sense that we've seen sellers be real. When we tested 646, he didn't budge. And on top of that, we only traded one contract into it. So what's happening here is I've got my finger there because it's on the stop. I'm going to stop out if it goes above there. But actually, to be honest, the action I'm seeing here is basically pathetic on the buy side. I'm seeing very little interest for us to move to the next level of value, fair price or value. You see how I'm circling that area? It's got me concerned because this guy, if you notice, you rewind it, it's been sticking around this, 700 to 800 bids for some time now. Look at that, guys. 600, 100, 300, and look at the buyers. Much more selling on the aggressive side, right? Got my finger there just ready to stop out if it does go against us. So don't forget, I've taken profit on 2 positions, and I've got this 1 position where I just want us to go and test this 21. What I'll do is I'll wait for it to go down to 21, and as we start testing this area, it's unlikely I'm going to get filled here. Do you see what happened here? We tested it, didn't really get the full allocation of contracts trading there. So if you wanted to get filled, for example, on the offer side here, it's unlikely, and similarly here, I think it's unlikely. What I've done is I've circling that, and what I'm trying to point out is that, look, we've only traded 1 contract, 7 peanuts on the buy side, but look how many we're trading on the sell side. 500. Guys, we're trading huge size on the sell side aggressively. On the buy side, we're just not trading. That's not to say it can't snap back up. Because don't forget, sometimes what's happening is these sellers, so they're aggressively selling, right? We've seen several thousand contracts selling aggressively. But they're not really getting much movement, are they? Where are they selling? They've been selling at 23.5, 23, 22.5. So you've got people short here. Guys, if this thing doesn't move down and test this area very quickly so they can get their 1 or 2 ticks, you will see this pop. Because some of them will bail, won't they? And what do you have to do if you're short to get out? Buy. So that may cause them to buy. So my 1 position here, I know what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking, are they going to test this? Because these sellers that have stepped in here, they're not getting paid still, are they? You see, I'm getting nervous about it. I'm thinking of cancelling this. I have cancelled it. I'm thinking of moving it up just to get out of this position, because I can see these sellers, some of them are bailing now. You can see it here. Do you remember before we were trading single digits here on the buy side? Now we're suddenly trading 400. This is what I say to people, guys, even when you're trading not on a depth of market, on a chart, people who just think you can enter, leave a stop loss and a take profit, crazy. You see, you're getting information all the time, even after you've entered the trade. You won't need to watch this the way I am, but anyway, coming back to this. So what it is, I'm thinking of exiting my last position here, and hopefully I don't. And the reason I say that is because, look, these are very real. Can you see someone's absorbing at 24? The guy, do you remember he had about 600 contracts there? Well, we've just traded 500 and he's still showing 300. 500 and 300 is 800. So I know this seller is very real and still interested in, there you go, 800. He absorbed 800. So yeah, we've tested the edge of value again. He's gone 2 ticks against me. I think if it goes another 1 or 2 ticks, I'm going to be out of this market. But I like the fact that we traded and he was real. He was happy to stand there, and we've traded pretty much peanuts on the edge of value. So let's see what, I think what I'm doing is I'm literally just waiting to see what's happening in this area. See, what you got to remember, guys, is you might be wondering, why haven't I bailed now? It's now gone 4 ticks against me. The reason is because I'm taking into account what? It's not only about what's happening at that very single moment. It's also what I've been observing for the last 15 minutes. What have I observed for the last 15 minutes? We've seen absorption happening at all of these levels. We've seen absorption happening in this area. We've seen absorption happening in this area. We've seen absorption happening in this area. We've seen sellers getting aggressive. Have we seen any absorbing happening here? No. So in my mind, I know what's happening. We got down, we saw a lot of selling coming at 23.5, 24. We saw a lot of selling coming in, right? And I knew people were just going to be bailing because they weren't getting paid. But I was watching how many people bailed. But we saw how many got short, several thousand. I only saw a few hundred bailing. So I was thinking, people are still short. So I'm still in the trade. I'm not sure if I actually add. There you go. I added some more into this trade. There you go. And I got filled at 23.5. So I've got my 3 positions back on, guys. So don't forget, I took 3 shorts. I got out of 2. Market went against me. I only had 1 position and I was ready to get out at a small loss. But I liked what I saw in the sense that, yep, the buyers were stepping in, but there were very few buyers stepping in. So again, you're only seeing 5, 200 is peanuts. But when you're seeing selling, we're seeing a lot of selling coming in and absorbing. There you go. Look, 500. Excuse me. Very, very aggressive selling here. I'm even more confident now that we're going to move down. I've got my finger there because I'm thinking if it goes against me too much, I'm happy to bail. That's all I'm doing. That's why I got my finger in this spot. There you go. Look at that, guys. 700. How many are you seeing on the buy side? 50, 29, 200, nothing. That's, you see what I'm circling there? That's what I'm circling. I think now my fingers, you can see I'm relaxed. I'm much more relaxed because I've seen the buyers give it their best shot and they just weren't able to really do very much. I didn't see absorption here. I didn't see aggressive buying coming in. Yeah, the market moved up, but the manner in which it did it. See, I'm even thinking, should I add some more here? I'm so confident that this is going to pop down now, but I thought better of it because I had 3 positions already. I thought, don't get greedy. I'm hoping I thought better of it. Yeah, I did. And there you go. Look, we just finally, the sellers finally slammed this. And they moving it down now towards fair price. So we've seen this bid increase a little bit, but I got out there. So my first position just got taken out. You see I went from -18 to -12. Right, got another position here. So what I did is I moved it up, guys. So I'm happy to get out all my position here at 20.5 because I don't really want to test this. That's why I moved my bid up. And I may even move it up a bit more just because we only sold 3 contracts into this, and I'm starting to see a bit of a two-way battle basically going on in this area, which is what I'm circling here. I can see a two-way battle starting. Although saying that, to be fair, look, the buying is still very, very weak. So there you go. I'm out of my position now. Just going to let it play out for 5 minutes, but just basically to let you know that my main concern at this stage was this 780 here. And that's what sellers, that's why I'm circling that. That's what sellers are all looking at, guys. They're not looking at technical analysis, mumbo jumbo, rubbish. Did you see how the sellers backed off as soon as we got here? Okay, so that's just showing you all the ticks that I made, which was a lot actually. It was 1 plus 132. So basically, that's 33 ticks I took out of the market, which is quite a lot. I'm done. I thought I'd just let it play out. Do you see how the market moved away from there? Just want you to see, guys, algorithms. I was trading with algorithms there. It's coming in. They're all programmed to see this. They all saw that and they all backed off. They don't see it from a distance and say, oh, there's a buyer there, let's just not go there. What they're doing is they're happy to go and test. So you saw the market came right down into here and it traded, but it hardly traded. You know, maybe 50, 100 contracts. And then as soon as algorithms saw, and a few big individual players that, okay, we weren't making inroads into this area, they all backed off. And that's why the market is now starting to settle. in this range, and that's why I pulled my positions as well. So there's still 3 minutes left. It's a perfect time for us to remind ourselves, what did I see, guys? What clues was it? Do you remember I saw absorption? So I saw supply side games, right? At many levels. So I knew sellers were interested in selling and taking positions. We saw what? Other supply side games in the sense of whenever, do you remember, I think around here there was about 600 or 700 contracts. Whenever we were testing it, the guy wasn't flinching. Even though he wasn't absorbing, whenever we tested it, it was an unusual amount. He just wasn't flinching. So we saw that, we saw absorption, and then we saw market orders as well. Well, we saw aggression coming in, guys. So I saw 3 things in my favor that suggested to me, oh, we're out of value. Rather than moving to the next profile, value, right, fair price, what are we going to do? Actually, we're likely to move back in. Why is that? Well, I saw sellers getting aggressive on the supply side. I saw sellers standing firm, and I saw sellers placing market orders. That's it, guys. Had I seen what? Absorption on the bid side, had I seen buyers standing firm, and I'd seen buyers do what? Hit into offers, and what? Contextually, we were at the edge of value, then I would have gone to the next. I would have looked for the breakout and look for the next fair price to be tested. So I really hope that makes sense. You know, it's not a punt. You're not just thinking, oh, I woke up on the left side of bed today, so I'm going to take it from value to the next value, rather than doing the reversion trade, return to fair price. Let the market tell you in terms of what it's doing. You know, are there sellers active? Is there absorption? What side is it on? Is there market orders? Mainly it's to do with market orders. Because don't forget, guys, we'll be able to read absorption on a chart anyway using cumulative delta, as I said to you. So you can see the market, like the banana market, we went up, we came back down. Market's kind of happy around this area now. Just 1 minute of the video left, and it's pretty much over, guys. Okay, so that's the example done. What I might potentially do, in fact, yeah, let me do that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to step away from the screen, and for those of you who are interested in watching this again without me talking over it and marking it and just learning from it, if you want, because you know the alternative is you're going to have to go out, and I want you to do this as well because I want you to spend 2 weeks doing this. Go out there, do a screen recording like I've done here now. You see, with me, like I said, I've been looking at this for years. Even here, I could spot the things without having to press pause. I knew what I was looking for. Obviously, your eye isn't trained like that. So what I would suggest you do is use whatever screen recording software you have. Watch it, try to do it in real time, but then play it back to yourself. You know, in the evening after work or whenever, around family time or whatever. Replay it back to yourself. But for those that maybe don't have the time necessarily immediately to do that, I'm going to press play now. I'm going to step away. I'm going to press play, and I'm just going to let the whole 25 minutes play out so you can mark it as you wish and just replay it back to yourself. But otherwise, have fun with it, guys. Yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know. But otherwise, enjoy. Spend the next 2 weeks on this. Then, on the next section, I'm going to do the Discord, where I've already done it. You're going to see me trade the depth of market side by side with my retail platform, using some of the Discord levels. I don't really want you to do that stuff until you've been able to do this. Play some trades. Doesn't even have to be profits. I really don't care. Just try and understand value to value, going back to value, going out of value, trading around the volume profile contextually, etc. So do that for 2 weeks. Then we're going to have the last bit, which is obviously the Discord stuff, and then we'll move on to the pro course, where we'll probably be doing introduce you slowly to some of the more advanced concepts. I'm going to let this play for 25 minutes, and then I'm just going to end this video. All right, guys, enjoy it.